Caitlin Clark just did something that left the entire sports world speechless. At the Anika Pro-Am in Florida, she didn't just show up to play golf. She shattered records that prove her star power transcends basketball in ways nobody predicted. While the WNBA spent years mishandling their golden goose, the LPGA rolled out the red carpet and witnessed something extraordinary. The numbers that followed her appearance made Tiger Woods' prime look modest. And that 35-foot putt she sank? That was just the beginning of a day that changed everything. Here's my question for you. When will leagues finally understand that Caitlin Clark isn't just a basketball player? She's a cultural phenomenon. Caitlin Clark definitely put it down, man. She showed the star power that she has. She had the golf course, the electricity was there. It was lit. You had everybody was going live, trying to stream the golf. Like it was a must-see event because of Caitlin Clark. Before we break down the records Clark demolished at the Anika Pro-Ams, we need to talk about how she prepared for this moment, because what separates good athletes from legends isn't what happens under the lights, it's what happens in the shadows when nobody's watching. Michael Jordan doesn't invite just anyone to Grove 23. His private golf course in Hobe Sound, Florida, isn't some celebrity hangout where athletes take selfies and call it networking. This is where business empires get built, where legacies get shaped, where the greatest of all time shares wisdom with those he believes can handle it. And Jordan brought Clark into that inner circle for a reason. Grove 23 opened in 2019 as Jordan's vision of perfection translated into 18 holes of championship golf. The facility features a main clubhouse, learning center, practice range, and they deliver refreshments by drone during play because even the small details reflect excellence. This isn't where you go to work on your swing. This is where you go to learn how to build something bigger than yourself. Clark showed up wearing all Nike gear including her CC logo, teasing her upcoming Player Edition golf shoes that were still in development. That attention to detail, that understanding that every public appearance builds your brand, that's exactly what Jordan was teaching her. The conversations at Grove 23 weren't about golf mechanics. They were about business strategy, crossover marketing, long-term legacy building. Jordan saw in Clark what he saw in himself decades ago. Someone whose appeal extends far beyond their primary sport. Nike executives were there too, discussing deals that could reshape Clark's entire commercial footprint. They talked about Player Edition products, cross-promotional opportunities, ways to turn athletic excellence into generational wealth. Jordan emphasized how authentic stars transcend individual sports, how someone with genuine star power can lift up entire leagues if given the proper platform. Clark absorbed everything. She asked questions, took notes, understood that this invitation represented recognition from the ultimate authority on athletic branding. Jordan doesn't waste time on athletes who won't maximize their potential. He saw Clark's competitive fire on the golf course, the same intensity that made her dominant in basketball. Her swing showed precision and focus. Her demeanor reflected someone who takes every competition seriously regardless of the sport. This wasn't off-season vacation. This was MBA-level education from the professor who wrote the textbook on becoming bigger than your sport. And what Clark learned at Grove 23 set the stage for what would happen at Pelican Golf Club just days later. Now let's talk about what made the Anika Pro-Am unlike any LPGA event in recent memory. Clark didn't show up alone. She brought her Indiana Fever teammates Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull, turning a golf tournament into must-watch television through pure chemistry and authentic friendship. Sophie and Lexi weren't just caddies carrying clubs. They brought their personalities, their humor, their genuine bond with Clark that translated perfectly from basketball courts to fairways. The Golf Channel provided live coverage they normally reserve for major championships because they understood something special was happening. Commentators couldn't stop talking about the unique dynamic between these three Fever players. Sophie embraced her caddy role with typical humor, joking that she hoped she wouldn't get kicked out of the group. Her playful energy contrasted sharply with traditional golf decorum, making the entire event more entertaining for fans watching at home. Then, Sophie did something that could have been a disaster, but instead became comedy gold. She accidentally hit a spectator with her drive during a fun moment. The crowd went silent. Cameras zoomed in. Everyone waited to see how this would play out because golf events don't usually feature errant shots from celebrity caddies nailing fans. The atmosphere shifted from excitement to concern in an instant. Clark's response was instant and perfect. Man down. Turning a potentially awkward moment into pure entertainment, the fan immediately responded that getting hit was worth it. Sophie fired back with, "Says your wife," sending the crowd into hysterics. Her quick wit transformed what could have been embarrassing into one of the day's highlight moments. The three Fever teammates had chemistry that felt completely natural rather than manufactured for cameras. They genuinely enjoyed each other's company. You could see their friendship in every interaction, supporting each other through good shots and bad ones alike. Hull, who plays golf regularly because of her boyfriend's passion for the game, brought real knowledge to her caddy duties. She understood course strategy and club selection better than most celebrity caddies. During the round, fans shouted for Cunningham and Hull to resign with the Fever. Sophie's response was direct and honest. "Tell them to pay us." This moment highlighted ongoing WNBA contract negotiations and players' desires for salaries that reflect their actual value. Her comment cut through all the corporate speak and union negotiations with brutal honesty that fans appreciated. The caddy dynamic proved that Clark's star power gets amplified when she's surrounded by the right people. Her teammates brought their own personalities and fan bases to the golf course, creating multiple storylines beyond just Clark's golf performance. The combination of all three created appointment television for basketball and golf fans alike. But while the laughs and chemistry were genuine, something much bigger was happening that would completely reshape how sports leagues think about crossover stars and their marketing value. The numbers that followed Clark's appearance at the Anika Pro-Am didn't just break LPGA records. They shattered them so completely that analysts had to double-check their data because the increases seemed impossible. According to media data tracked by GameBridge, there were 395 television segments mentioning Caitlin Clark in relation to the Anika tournament. On Pro-Am Day alone, there were 2,693 posts on X mentioning Clark playing in the event. Those posts generated 241,000 engagements and 18 million impressions. For context, most LPGA Pro-Am events barely register on social media analytics at all. The tournament's Instagram account saw a 591% increase in views year over year. The tournament website experienced 121% traffic increase. These aren't minor bumps in engagement. These are numbers that suggest an entirely new audience discovered the LPGA through Clark's participation. But the real story was what happened at Pelican Golf Club itself. Attendance surged by an estimated 1,200% compared to previous Pro-Am events. Normal Pro-Am rounds draw modest crowds who follow their favorite golfers quietly around the course. Clark's presence turned the atmosphere. Electric fans screamed her name from tee to green. They chanted MVP during her putts. Security had to add extra personnel to manage crowds that stretched 5 deep behind the ropes. Parking lots filled hours before tee time. Merchandise stands ran out of Clark-related items by noon. The pro shop had never seen demand like this for a single player during a Pro-Am event. Fans climbed trees to get better views. The galleries followed her group with an intensity usually reserved for major championship Sundays when Tiger Woods is in contention. Here's where the contrast becomes absolutely brutal for the WNBA. While that league spent 2 years letting Clark get beat up physically and mentally, treating her star power like an inconvenience rather than an asset, the LPGA understood exactly what they had the moment Clark committed to playing. They promoted the event relentlessly across every platform. They created special merchandise. They arranged autograph sessions and photo opportunities. They assigned Clark prime tee times and paired her with popular golfers. They made sure every aspect of her experience felt special because they recognized that her presence could elevate their entire sport. Golf Channel commentators didn't hold back either, openly criticizing how the WNBA wasted Clark's crossover appeal. They talked about how the league failed to protect their biggest asset from physical play that often crossed the line. They mentioned how officials let opponents hack away at Clark without proper consequences. They highlighted how the WNBA seemed almost embarrassed by their own biggest star rather than embracing her. The LPGA rolled out autograph zones, extended television coverage, special programming. giving Clark the full Tiger Woods treatment because they actually understood her value. The production quality matched what you see during major championships. Interviews with Clark appeared throughout the broadcast. Commentary focused on her crossover appeal and what it meant for women's sports visibility. The event featured coverage that started early and ran late into the afternoon. Every shot Clark hit received analysis. Every interaction with fans got captured. The LPGA treated this Pro-Am like it was the final round of a major championship because they understood the opportunity they had been given. Clark broke LPGA attendance and viewership records, proving that her appeal transcends basketball in ways the WNBA never fully grasped or appreciated. Her drawing power extends far beyond her primary sport. She brings new audiences wherever she goes. Her authenticity connects with fans across different sports and demographics. This record-breaking day sent a clear message about what happens when a league actually embraces their biggest star instead of taking them for granted. But the day wasn't complete without a signature moment that would be replayed for years. And Clark delivered exactly that on the 10th hole. Every once in a while, an athlete does something that makes you stop everything and just watch. Clark stepped up to a 35-foot putt from the logo on the 10th hole with crowds packed around the green like it was Masters Sunday. The gallery was 5 deep behind the ropes. Fans climbed trees for better views. Security guards positioned themselves throughout the crowd to manage the building energy. This wasn't just any putt. This was Clark's moment to prove that her hand-eye coordination, that basketball sense of touch and feel, translates perfectly across sports. The distance meant everything had to be perfect. Too hard, and the ball rolls past the hole. Too soft, and it dies short. The slope of the green added another layer of difficulty. Professional golfers miss putts like this regularly. Clark took her time reading the green. She crouched behind the ball, studying the line from multiple angles. Hull offered advice as her caddy, pointing out subtle breaks in the putting surface. The crowd noise dropped to whispers. Camera operators adjusted their positions for the best angles. Golf Channel commentators prepared for either celebration or consolation, their voices hushed with anticipation. The ball rolled across the green with perfect pace, tracking toward the hole as thousands of fans held their breath collectively. You could see the exact moment when everyone realized the putt had a legitimate chance. The volume started building gradually. Phones came out of pockets to capture the moment. Clark followed the ball's path, walking alongside it as professional golfers do. When it dropped, the roar was absolutely deafening. The kind of sound you usually only hear at March Madness when Clark hits a logo 3 or during the final seconds of a championship game. Clark threw her arms up in celebration. Sophie and Lexi rushed over to embrace her. The crowd erupted like she had just hit a buzzer beater to win a national title. Fans jumped up and down, high-fiving complete strangers around them. The celebration lasted several minutes, as replay after replay showed the perfect roll, the perfect pace, the perfect result. Golf Channel couldn't stop showing it from different angles. Social media exploded immediately with comparisons to Tiger's greatest putt moments. Here's what makes this moment even more remarkable. Clark was playing through recovery from injuries that shortened her WNBA season. Her ear injury had affected her balance for months. The ankle problems limited her mobility during the playoffs. Yet here she was, moving freely across the golf course without any visible limitations whatsoever. She looked completely healthy, moving with the confidence of someone who's fully recovered and ready to dominate again when basketball season returns. Her swing showed no hesitation or compensation for previous injuries. She walked the course with the same energy she brings to basketball courts. Her competitive fire was obvious on every shot, whether good or bad. The putt became the signature moment of a day that was rewriting the rules of crossover athletic success. Basketball fans who had never watched golf were sharing clips. Golf fans were asking when Clark might play in more tournaments. The shot will be remembered as proof that elite athletes can excel across multiple sports when given the right opportunities and platforms. Clark just showed every sports league how to turn one athlete into a movement that lifts up all of women's sports. Her record-breaking day at Pelican Golf Club proved that crossover stars create opportunities for entire leagues when those leagues are smart enough to embrace them properly. The LPGA understood her value immediately and gave her the platform she deserved. They promoted her properly, protected her experience, and reaped massive rewards in attention, viewership, and new fan engagement. Meanwhile, the WNBA continues stumbling through their own insecurity about having a star bigger than their league brand. The contrast couldn't be more stark or more damning. One league rolled out the red carpet and broke records. The other league spent 2 years treating their biggest asset like a problem to be managed rather than a gift to be celebrated. One league understood that rising tides lift all boats. The other league seemed actively uncomfortable with anyone shining too brightly. Clark's golf success shows she's ready for whatever comes next. Her injuries are clearly behind her. Her brand has grown beyond basketball into something much larger. Her crossover appeal has been proven with actual numbers rather than just speculation. And if the WNBA is smart, which remains an open question, they'll learn from the LPGA's playbook and start treating their biggest star like the cultural icon she's proven to be. Clark just gave every sports league a masterclass in what happens when you embrace your stars instead of resenting them. The LPGA understood the assignment while the WNBA continues failing theirs spectacularly.